First off, let me say I am not a financial advisor. These videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. So this thumbnail this morning caught my eye because I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones here lately in anticipation of the final season coming up. So I went back and decided to watch all the seasons, and this kind of caught my eye because, you know, back in the days of Game of Thrones, they were using these stamps in order to seal all their letters when they were sending them from king to king or whatever, just to show that the letter hadn't been tampered with. You know, the king would put his seal on there and send it off to whoever it needed to go to. But I wanted to give a shout out to Alfonso Costello XRP. Follow him at AL Casty XRP. He has a lot of great graphic designs and art, XRP art, on his Twitter page, so he's definitely worth a follow if you like seeing unique things done with the XRP symbol. All right, so over the weekend, or actually last week, Binance announced that they are now accepting credit cards to pay for crypto on their site. And this is huge for Binance because there's only a few sites out there that allows you to actually buy crypto with your credit card or debit card. And they even at launch, the exchange is supporting credit card purchases for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and XRP. So you can actually go on and buy either one of those directly on Binance now. The only catch is there are 6 states in the U.S. that are excluded. They are New York, Connecticut, Hawaii, my state of Georgia, New Mexico, and Washington. So if you live in any one of those 6 states, you won't be able to purchase your XRP directly on Binance, which is a bummer because I was really excited when I first saw that until I got to the part where it had the excluded states. But yeah, if you live in any other states in the U.S., you can buy XRP or Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin with your credit or debit card directly on Binance now without having to go through, say, a CashApp or Coinbase or any other third party in order to buy your crypto. So yeah, as long as you don't live in one of those 6 states, you're good to go. Another thing I wanted to cover was this Wyoming bill. The Wyoming Senate passes a bill to make Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Litecoin, EOS, and altcoins legal form of money. So they passed, the Senate has passed this bill, the Digital Assets Bill. They introduced this to support the recognition of cryptocurrencies as personal property. The legislation defines crypto assets as digital consumer assets, digital securities, and virtual currencies. So this is going to be huge because if they go ahead and, if their Congress, if the House passes this bill in Wyoming, then they'll be setting a precedent as far as the states go in digital assets. And hopefully the rest of the United States will get behind this and go ahead and give us some clear, defined regulations on all of the digital assets or altcoins, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, which they've already designated those two as not being securities. So once we get this legal framework in place and get all the regulation in place and have a clear idea of how the country is going to treat digital assets, it's going to make a huge difference. And I think something like that could actually spur a bull run because now we'll have regulatory certainty and there will be no more guessing as far as how should I classify these assets on my taxes and stuff like that. So it's going to help out a lot. And I for one will be glad when we get that regulatory framework in place so that we'll know for sure exactly what we're looking at as far as XRP and digital assets goes. Another bit of information or news that I ran across this morning was an article from You Today, and they're basically asking a question. Price predictions for 2019 will Ripple grow by 2,000%. It's possible in one case, And the one case that they're talking about, they're basically saying, is it possible for Ripple to soar to $692? And there are a couple of theories behind it. One of the things that would allow it to get there, and I also like this, I'm an old school Popeye fan. I love Popeye, and yeah, Ripple would be some great spinach right about now. But the use case that they're talking about basically is what Ripple is going after, which is cross-border payments. So they were talking about this theory that was published in the independentrepublic.com. They're saying it sounds too good to be true because it would mean Ripple's market cap would be at 27 trillion. For comparison, all mined gold on Earth is worth about 7.8 trillion. So, and that's one asset class. But when you think about all the different use cases for XRP, I believe it could get to this price. This is just one specific use case, and they were saying that the number is possible only if Ripple becomes the choice for all cross-border payments made by all financial institutions. So the daily value of all cross-border transactions around the world is 9.8 trillion, and that's a day, while 27 trillion is stored in cross-border transnational accounts. So that's the use case that Ripple is trying to solve, which is allowing these banks and financial institutions not to have to store $27 trillion of money in these different transnational accounts. That would free the banks up and financial institutions up to use that money to invest, to trade, and do multiple other things instead of having it just tied up sitting there. And that's the use case, the primary use case that Ripple is going after with XRP. Now, when you talk about the tokenization of all assets, stocks, securities, companies, real estate, when you add all of that in there on top of this one specific use case, it's real easy to see how XRP could soar past this number. And I, for one, believe it will. I don't know when. Like this is basically talking about a 2019 prediction. This may take years to come about. 4 or 5. 2 to 3, 3 to 6. It could take a little while before all this framework and everything to take place, and for everything to become tokenized. And I believe that's really what's happening. I'm reading a lot of different news talking about the tokenization of all assets and being able to trade assets off of a token, and not having to actually trade the asset itself, not having to actually trade the real estate or the property, but you can trade by tokenizing it. You're actually making it a lot more liquid. So like right now, say if you wanted to, say for instance, I use Acorns as a way to save money and do micro investments. So if I wanted to sell my stock or the stock that I have in Acorns, because like I said, it's micro investing into different stocks. If I wanted to sell that, it takes about 4 to 5 days, almost a week for me to get the money after I put in for a sale. If those assets were tokenized, if those stocks were tokenized, you could go in and out of an asset within a matter of minutes, much the same way as you can when you send XRP or any other digital asset. Well, XRP being the fastest, of course. It could just take minutes. So now that tokenized property that you own, if you want to sell part of it, you could actually do that and have the money within minutes, which is huge. So I'm looking at this, like I said, all the news is coming out and everything, and people are talking about the bull run is on its way. And I for one believe the same thing. I believe it won't be long once we get the regulatory framework in place. Once Wall Street jumps on board, it's only a matter of time before the bull run takes off. And I know everybody's kind of sitting on pins and needles, but once again, if you're in a position to buy, now is the time. The price is still right around 30 cents for XRP. And, as things happen and money comes available, I, for one, continue to buy. I'm still buying more whenever I have extra money. I have a pretty good bit of XRP, so the price, normally I wait for the price to get below 30 cents before I buy any more. But when it dips down, I do buy on the dips. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. let you know a little bit about what's happening. I know it's been a couple of days since I did a video. We had the Super Bowl here in Atlanta, so I was out and about participating in some of the activities and stuff that's going on with the NFL experience and all the celebrity parties and stuff going on this weekend. So without, giving rides, taking people from place to place, watching them, watching everybody enjoy themselves and waiting for XRP to take off. So, maybe next year or the year after that, I can go to a Super Bowl and participate in some of the activities myself. Thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.